Okay. We are here with Mike McCoy. He is one of the best people I've ever heard in talking about technology and working in tech. Over the course of his career, he's kind of evolved into this tech world as it has evolved. So I'm going to pass off to him to kind of introduce himself, the company he works for, and then his thought on having tech skills and having a technology background.
Hey everyone, Mike McCoy here. I work for one of the largest blockchain incubator labs in the world in Consensus, which is an incubator lab for the Ethereum protocol that helps build industry vertical companies with the new wave technology of today's world. And really here in the Philadelphia area, I helped start a software development bootcamp before called Launch Academy, which helped teach people in an immersive in-person program how to program and code. And a lot of these technology skills are, there's a myth, right? There's a myth that, oh, as long as I'm into computers, I'm always going to be technical, right? That's just not really true. A lot of times the people that are best fit for the technology realm are people that are into problem solving and are into being able to solve puzzles. People that are willing to take on new things, new technologies that they might not be very familiar with. Mm-hmm. And being able to, of course, mathematics is another thing in the equation where if you know certain algorithms, these type of things are going to come easier to you. But as long as you're really a problem solver and someone who can be able to explain problems, that's a big deal in this industry. Because a lot of times at my software development bootcamp, when we were accepting people into the program, we gave them a lot of different like easy math tests, right? But the biggest factor was being able to cognitively have the ability to speak about a technical problem to the everyday person. So if they were to talk to our staff, because we had an admission staff that was not technical at all actually, they would see the approval of the math test and they passed that. But if they weren't able to describe a PowerPoint about something they truly loved, I think one of the things someone talked about was how to build a car, right? And they used to be a mechanic and they wanted to be able to do something like that. If they weren't able to make me understand the intricacies of building up a car and explaining that to others, they weren't really good for technology. Technologists, for the most part, are being able to describe the technical world into the physical world or into the everyday world, right? And if you're able to really bridge those gaps together, you're meant to be in the technology world. But you don't have to be an expert either. A lot of times there are people that are marketers that help bring out the communication aspects of all these different entities. There are people in business and sales roles that don't really need to know all the technical intricacies either. All they need to know is know the top level information, and they're able to go out in the field and bring it all together. There are also people that are even technical by nature that just help debugging issues for IT support and other realms like that. Then there are the software developers that create the actual thing. There are people that create the machine learning tactics. Then there are people that actually create security measures too, that make sure that all the purposeful technology is secure in the right environment. So there are a number of different technology skills out there in the world, and you don't really need to be able to have one entity of it. It's more about being agile, being able to learn as much as possible, and being able to learn on the fly what your true strength is, because there are many different strengths out there.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing from you is it's not actually the tactical doing of it, mm-hmm. but it's understanding it, finding the goal of solving the problem, fixing the puzzle maybe, and then teaching it, educating, and kind of selling it too.
Oh, yeah.
So in your world, like you used to do that from the beginning when you were on camera being a broadcaster to now, and you might not be the most tech savvy person, but what kind of stuff do you find in these people? I mean, you mentioned math skills that you might do these little tests. What do you find, I guess, are the best skills that they have?
Communication.
Okay.
Communication is a huge one, and being able to, and even just writing comprehension skills are huge. Because a lot of times, especially for blockchain technology, because it's so new, it's so out there. A lot of my job is just teaching people what we do and being able to make that coherent, whether it's speaking to them, whether it's writing out different white papers, as they call it. White papers are educational
like case studies.
Educational case studies,
yeah.
Exactly. And so being able to bring those worlds together are some of the biggest things. Yes, you have to have the technical know-how. You have to be able to know how these systems work and operate and some of the different algorithms and methods that are to it. But I would say the communication aspect is the biggest thing.
Okay, so let's piggyback off that. Now, these students, are in the business division at Newman, and you in your traditional education, right? You might not have had a tech class or anything that taught you this stuff.
I had no tech classes at my
so-
traditional education.
So talk about how you learn these tech skills, like what has
So-
helped you and what have you.
So a lot of times, especially in Philadelphia, when you're in growing, thriving technical communities, going out to different meetup and networking events is really huge. I would say being able to see technical demos. So a lot of times, I went into conferences or events where I had no clue how technology worked whatsoever. I just took notes constantly on my computer, whether it was writing them down. I would say now in the digital age, I typed it more, so
Right.
you saved a step, but a lot of times I was kind of self-taught where I went into people's demos, right? If someone was doing a React demo, which is React is a front-end programming language, I had no clue about it at first. But someone went through how they went through a code line, how they built up this function, all these other different things. I just took notes on it. And later I researched it, did more work on my own. It's going to be, if you're not a technical person now, there's no bad time to start. There's really any time of day, any time of year, as long as you're passionate about learning more. It's really passionate about learning.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I think
if you're willing to take the steps.
I think that's a great way to end this, is just to understand that the tech skills come from the want and the need to innovate and to learn those skills. So it's not always innovating like coming up with a new product, but innovating in your learning, right? So like if you're only set in learning from lectures or only set in learning from textbooks, this is saying go out and meet people, learn those skills, go back and do the work.
And plenty of people are very, especially in the technology field, they're very willing to just go step by step with you. You say, hey, like, I don't know anything about technology, but I would love to see, like, you build out your site, or even just like for an hour, if we can grab coffee, we can do whatever. Just tell me about what you're willing to do. Anyone will be willing to do that for you. And there was a lot of people along my technical journey that helped me through that. As long as you shown you the willingness to learn, and you have the humble mindset where, hey, I don't know anything, but I'm willing to take the time. It's all about where you're going to put your time to, right? And if you're willing to put your time in technology, it'll give it back to you.
Sure. So I think that's a great place for us to kind of lift off with this, which is no matter what you're doing, tech and technology is going to be there, and if anything, it's going to evolve into more and more. So take some time to kind of realize what you're good at, what you're not, and then take that extra step to think about what you can learn. And Mike gave you some great advice, as opposed to like, hey, I don't know this stuff, to run away. He's saying dive deep, understand it, and the myth that you have to be tech savvy isn't really true. It's you have to be willing to learn, to be able to kind of educate those and communicate. So let's just leave it there, and I thank you, Mike, and hope you guys can get something out of this.
Thank you.